Imagine this for a moment. Everything you've ever believed about pleasure, happiness, and satisfaction suddenly flipped upside down. What if the very chase for joy, comfort, and fulfillment you've been running after your entire life hasn't been leading you closer to your true self, but pulling you away from it? What if, behind the mask of pleasure, there's something deeper at work, something more profound, more powerful, and yes, even more dangerous? A force that could either trap you in unconscious cycles or wake you up to your full potential. Today, we're exploring one of the most challenging and eye-opening perspectives of Carl Jung. We're peeling back the layers of the human psyche to confront one of the most seductive forces in human existence, pleasure. But this isn't just about psychology in a clinical sense. This is about uncovering truths that could completely reshape the way you relate to your desires, your habits, and even your suffering. And by the end, the final insight we'll uncover has the potential to permanently transform how you see not only pleasure, but the architecture of your entire life. Before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit the like button, and share this video with someone who's searching for deeper self-understanding. And as you watch, comment below, which of these ideas challenges you the most? Sometimes your reflection can spark someone else's awakening. Let's begin.
Carl Jung didn't view pleasure the way most modern psychology does. Contemporary theories often reduce pleasure to brain chemicals, reinforcement loops, or self-care practices. For Jung, though, pleasure wasn't just biology or culture, it was symbolic, archetypal, a raw force of nature that could free us or destroy us, depending on how consciously we engaged with it. Jung believed the human psyche isn't one-dimensional. It's a constant interplay of opposites, the conscious and the unconscious, light and shadow, persona and self. And inside this dynamic, pleasure is never just a neutral experience. Often, it's a disguise. It's a mask covering something we've buried. Every pleasure we seek may be tied to a pain we've suppressed, and every indulgence might be an echo of something we're unwilling to face. Think about it. How many pleasures in your own life have really been ways of escaping discomfort, loneliness, guilt, boredom, shame? How many so-called joys are really just subtle distractions from the deeper inner work your soul is asking you to do? This is where Jung introduces the idea of the shadow, the part of ourselves we deny, repress, and avoid. And it's here, in the shadow, where unexamined pleasures often live. You might believe you're simply enjoying a meal, a night out, or a scroll through social media, but underneath, maybe you're feeding an unacknowledged emptiness, a deep need to feel seen, or trying to numb a wound that doesn't yet have a name. From this perspective, pleasure isn't just an experience, it's a symptom, a signal. Not all pleasure is bad, of course, far from it, but the key is awareness, consciousness. When we consume pleasure unconsciously, it begins to consume us. When we indulge without reflection, we risk falling into what Jung called psychic inflation, a state where the ego gets bloated with false identity and hollow satisfaction.
And isn't it strange that in today's world, where gratification is endless, where entertainment is instant, where food arrives at your door and social feeds scroll infinitely, we also see record levels of depression, anxiety, and existential confusion? Could it be that our pleasures don't fulfill us because they aren't rooted in our true self? Jung wrote extensively about individuation, the lifelong process of becoming whole, and he was clear: individuation requires facing the shadow and integrating the parts of ourselves we've denied. Sometimes that means confronting our habits of chasing pleasure and asking, what am I really looking for here?
So let me ask you right now, when was the last time you truly examined your desires? Not just what you want, but why you want it. Who inside you is craving this? Is it your mature, integrated self? Or is it a wounded fragment of your psyche repeating an old pattern? Pleasure, Jung warned, can become a drug when it replaces purpose. And so many of us, often unknowingly, live this addiction every single day. We chase short-term highs, likes, validation, shopping, sugar, sex, not because we're weak, but because we're unconscious. And the unconscious always takes the path of least resistance. Here's where Jung's wisdom becomes powerful. He doesn't shame us for our desires. Instead, he invites us into dialogue with them. He believed every behavior, even the destructive ones, carries a message from the unconscious. The overuse of pleasure isn't just bad behavior. It's a signal. It's something inside you asking to be seen, to be felt, to be healed.
So how do we move forward? How do we begin to shift our relationship with pleasure? Jung would say, begin with awareness. Start observing your impulses and tracing them back to their roots. The next time you reach for something that promises a hit of pleasure, pause and ask, what am I really hungry for? What am I avoiding? This isn't about guilt, it's about growth. It's about reclaiming your power from unconscious habits and stepping fully into who you really are. Because in its purest form, pleasure isn't shallow, it's sacred. It can be a reflection of harmony between your inner world and your outer life, but only when it's conscious, only when it flows from your core being, not from the fragmented cries of your shadow. In the next part of this journey, we'll explore how modern society has taken this raw human force and weaponized it, turning pleasure into a tool for distraction, profit, and control. And we'll see how Jung's insights, paired with ancient wisdom, can help us break free from this invisible prison.
Now, let's move into the second stage of niche mastery, positioning. If niche selection is about choosing the right mountain to climb, then positioning is about how you set up your camp on that mountain. Two creators might be in the same niche, but the way they position themselves can make all the difference between getting lost in the crowd or standing out as a voice people want to listen to. Think about it like this. Positioning answers the question, why should someone listen to you and not the other guy saying something similar? It's not just about what you talk about, but how you talk about it, who you're talking to, and the unique angle you bring to the table. Take the fitness niche, for example. It's one of the most crowded spaces on YouTube. You've got bodybuilders, athletes, trainers, lifestyle vloggers, all teaching workouts, nutrition tips, or routines. But positioning is what allows someone like a calisthenics-focused creator to rise above the noise. They're not trying to teach everything about fitness. They're narrowing in, saying, this is my slice of the fitness world, and here's how I deliver it differently. Positioning often comes down to three things: voice, perspective, and values. First, your voice. This doesn't just mean how you sound, but how you present yourself. Are you more of a mentor, a friend, a tough love coach, or a curious student? The energy and personality you bring to the camera are part of your brand's DNA. Your voice sets the emotional tone for your content, and it's one of the first things people subconsciously latch onto. Second, your perspective. This is where your unique experiences, background, and worldview come into play. Maybe you've overcome something personal. Maybe you have professional expertise, or maybe you've noticed patterns others haven't. Whatever it is, your perspective shapes how you approach topics in your niche. It's not about inventing brand new ideas. It's about showing familiar ideas through the lens only you can provide.
And third, your values. Viewers are drawn to creators who stand for something. Your values might be discipline, freedom, authenticity, creativity, resilience, whatever resonates with you. And when those values consistently come through your content,
they magnetize the kind of audience that shares them. It's not just about teaching a skill or sharing information, it's about creating a connection built on shared beliefs. Let's connect this back to niche selection. Remember how we talked about demand and alignment? Positioning is where you blend those two elements into a clear, recognizable identity. This is why two channels in the exact same niche can have wildly different levels of success. It's not because one is more talented than the other, it's because one found a way to position themselves in a way that made them indispensable to their viewers. Here's a practical exercise. Write down 3 to 5 adjectives that describe how you want your audience to feel when they interact with your content. Maybe it's inspired, challenged, comforted, motivated, or entertained. Then review your last few videos, or even the way you introduce yourself. Do those emotions come through? If not, there's your opportunity to refine your positioning. Now, I want to address a trap many creators fall into: copying. It's natural to look at successful creators in your niche and think, I'll just do what they're doing. And while modeling is a powerful way to learn, outright copying will never help you stand out. Positioning is about differentiation. If you sound and look exactly like someone else, why should anyone follow you instead of the original?
The creators who grow fast are often those who lean hardest into their quirks. The things you think are too weird, too specific, or too small often become the very thing that makes people stick with you. Maybe it's your editing style. Maybe it's your sense of humor. Maybe it's your brutal honesty. Whatever it is, don't iron it out. Amplify it. Let's step back for a second. You've selected your niche, and now you're working on positioning. Together, these two pieces form your channel identity. This identity is what makes someone land on your video, watch it through, and then click subscribe. Without a clear identity, people might enjoy a video or two, but they won't feel a reason to stick around. And here's where it ties to the bigger picture. YouTube isn't just about making videos, it's about building a brand. Your niche is the foundation, and your positioning is the personality of that brand. When those two are strong, you're no longer just a creator in the space. You become the creator your audience looks for. So here's your next step. After you've identified your niche, spend some real time thinking about your positioning. Don't rush it. Experiment with different styles, test your voice, and pay attention to what feels natural versus what feels forced. Over time, your positioning will sharpen into something unmistakable, and that's when momentum starts to build. But there's one more critical piece of this puzzle: content strategy. This is where you take your niche and your positioning and actually turn them into videos that grow your channel. Because even if you've chosen the perfect niche and nailed your positioning, without the right content strategy, you'll struggle to gain traction. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into next.
So we've covered niche and positioning. Now let's talk about the third pillar: content strategy. This is where everything becomes practical. Because even if you've chosen the perfect niche and built a clear identity, you won't grow if your content isn't structured in a way that hooks attention, builds trust, and encourages people to stick around. Think of content strategy as the engine that powers your channel. It's not about making random videos. It's about building a system, one where every video has a role and every role contributes to long-term growth. The first step is understanding the different types of content you need to balance. On YouTube, I like to think of them as 3 layers: discovery content, community content, and conversion content. Discovery content is how new people find you. These are videos designed to rank in search, show up in recommendations, or spread through word of mouth. They usually tackle broad, high-interest topics within your niche. For example, if you're in the finance niche, a video like 5 simple budget hacks to save $500 this month is discovery content. It's approachable, clickable, and likely to attract someone who's never seen you before. Community content is for the people who already know you. These videos deepen the relationship, showcase your personality, and make viewers feel part of something. They might not go viral, but they're essential for retention. Q&As, story times, behind the scenes, or deep dives into a subject are all great examples. Community content is what makes people feel like they're connected to you, and not just the information you provide.
And then there's conversion content. These are videos that move viewers closer to taking an action, subscribing, joining your email list, buying a product, or signing up for a service. This doesn't mean the video feels salesy, but it is intentional about nudging viewers toward the next step. A detailed tutorial, a case study, or a video introducing your own framework could fall into this category. When you combine these three, you create a balanced ecosystem where new people find you, current viewers stay engaged, and your brand grows beyond just views. Too much discovery content, and you'll struggle to keep people long-term. Too much community content, and you won't attract fresh eyes. It's about finding the rhythm that works for you. Next, let's talk about formats. YouTube gives us endless options: long-form videos, shorts, live streams, podcasts. But here's the truth: you don't need to do everything at once. Focus on one format until you master it. If you're a beginner, that usually means long-form content. Shorts are powerful for reach, but long-form is where you build connection and authority. And within your chosen format, consistency is everything. Not just in uploading regularly, but in the way you structure your videos. Think about the viewer journey. Your hook grabs attention in the first 10 seconds. Your intro sets up the promise. The body of your video delivers clear, engaging value. Your conclusion ties it together and calls for the next action. When you follow a structure consistently, your audience learns what to expect, and that creates trust. Trust is what gets them to click on your next video before even reading the title.
Here's another important piece: trends versus evergreen. Trends can bring in spikes of traffic, but they fade quickly. Evergreen content grows slowly, but it compounds over time. The smartest creators learn to use both. They ride trends to capture attention, but they anchor their channel with evergreen videos that keep working for them months or even years later. Now, let's zoom out. When you step back and look at niche, positioning, and content strategy together, you realize they're not separate steps. They're interconnected layers. Your niche gives you focus. Your positioning makes you stand out. Your content strategy turns those into actual growth. Neglect one, and the whole system wobbles. And here's the deeper truth: success on YouTube is less about beating the algorithm and more about understanding people. The algorithm is just a reflection of human behavior. If people click, watch, and engage with your content, the algorithm pushes it further. That means your real focus isn't on hacking YouTube, it's on serving your audience so well that the algorithm can't ignore you. So, what's the big takeaway? Building a YouTube channel isn't just about uploading videos. It's about building a brand, a voice, and a system that sustains growth. When you choose your niche with intention, position yourself with clarity, and design your content strategy with purpose, you move from being a hobbyist to becoming a creator with real momentum. And let's be clear, this doesn't happen overnight. It's a process of experimenting, learning, and refining. Your niche might evolve, your positioning might sharpen, and your content strategy will definitely improve with practice. But if you stay committed, every video becomes a brick in the foundation of something lasting. So if you're serious about growing, don't just chase views. Build a niche you can thrive in, position yourself in a way no one else can replicate, and design a content strategy that balances discovery, community, and conversion. Do this, and you won't just grow a channel, you'll grow a movement.